Dear students, in this module we shall study about two named reactions, that is Perkin reaction and Knoevenagel reactions. If you recall, you have already studied aldol condensation, where the formation of alpha carbanion, which is resonance stabilized via the enolate ion, they are attacking nucleophiles to other substrate. Now, extending this, in Perkin reaction and Knoevenagel also there will be role of alpha carbanions and the corresponding enolate ions. After studying this module, you shall be able to know about the two named reactions, that is Perkin reaction and Knoevenagel reaction. You shall be able to learn what happens when the salt of a carboxylic acid acts as a base and a nucleophile in Perkin reaction mechanism. You shall be able to identify how the Knoevenagel reaction can be treated like a crossed aldol reaction. You shall be able to evaluate and write down the steps of mechanism involved in these two named reactions, and also what are the recent advances in Knoevenagel reaction which have happened. So, let us begin with knowing and recalling the aldol condensation. You are already familiar with the aldol condensation, where an enolizable aldehyde or a ketone, that is the one having alpha hydrogen atom, is reacted with base or acid, and then they condense to form beta hydroxy aldehydes or beta hydroxy ketones, commonly called as aldols. In the presence of the base, if you recall, alpha carbanion is formed which attacks as nucleophile on another molecule of aldehyde or ketone, resulting in the condensation of two molecules and hence giving rise an alkoxide ion, which further gets protonated from the medium, and as a result you get the corresponding aldol, which are beta hydroxy aldehydes or ketones. Now, in a very analogous manner, Knoevenagel condensation and Perkin condensation also takes place. In other words, one can say that both Knoevenagel and Perkin condensation are modification of the aldol condensation, but applied on different type of molecules, that we will study in detail. In aldol condensation, two carbonyl compounds were condensed. Now, if we wish to condense one carbonyl compound with another active methylene compound, then it will be the case of Knoevenagel condensation. If we wish to condense aromatic carbonyl compound with acid anhydride, that is the alpha carbanion generated from acid anhydride, then this combination becomes the case of Perkin condensation or Perkin reaction. So, let us study more about these one by one in detail. So, let us begin with Perkin condensation or Perkin reaction. The Perkin reaction, as I told you, is analogous to aldol condensation, and this was given by William Henry Perkin, and that is how, based on his name, this reaction has been named, and this is used to make alpha beta unsaturated aromatic acids. Commonly they are called as cinnamic acids. In aldol condensation, two aldehydes or ketone molecules are condensed with the help of a base like NaOH, and in this case an aromatic aldehyde is condensed with an acid anhydride with the help of a suitable base. But the base here used is not NaOH, it is the sodium salt of the same acid from which the anhydride has been prepared, and we will see the reason why this particular salt is used as a base. So, as you can see here in this reaction, the benzaldehyde reacts with acetic anhydride as an example, and the sodium acetate is used as the appropriate base, and as a result we get this cinnamic acid along with acetic acid as the byproduct. When an aromatic aldehyde is treated with an acid anhydride, in the presence of an alkali salt of the same carboxylic acid from which acid anhydride is made, the product formed is an alpha beta unsaturated aromatic acid. So, this is how we can define the Perkin condensation for a general combination. As you can see here on the screen, the alkali salt of the carboxylic acid will be acting as the base here to abstract the proton to generate the alpha carbon ion. So, the general reaction is shown here. You have a aromatic aldehyde or ketone, then it reacts with this particular anhydride, and the base use is the salt of the same acid from which this anhydride has been prepared, and as a result you will get this alpha beta unsaturated aromatic carboxylic acid as the product. Let us try to go into more detail and understand more about this reaction. First of all, let us see what is this acid anhydride and how its enolate anion is getting generated. In the aldol condensation, if we recall, the base used to generate the enolate ion was NaOH or KOH, but these cannot be used when we have to generate enolate ions from acid anhydrides, and this can be understood as I will explain now. The order of reactivity of enolization of acid derivatives is the same as the order of reactivity towards their nucleophilic attack, as you can see, which is given here, and you can clearly see in this order the acid chlorides are most reactive, followed by acid anhydride, followed by esters, and then followed by amides. So, this can be seen that the acid anhydrides are quite reactive towards both. So, one has to use a mild base which, even if it acts as a nucleophile, does not have any impact on the anhydride functional group. If the strong bases like NaOH are used, they will hydrolyze the anhydride, and as a result you will be getting a carboxylic acid, and we won't be able to generate the enolate ion from it. So, the purpose for which we are generating the alpha carbon and then we want to condense it with aldehyde or ketone will be defeated. So, as you can see here in this equation, it is shown that if strong base like NaOH is used, this anhydride will get hydrolyzed and split up into two carboxylic acid fragments. So, here the sodium salt of carboxylic acid can very well act as a base or as a nucleophile, because if it attacks as a nucleophile, the same is attacking and the same will go out, there will not be any impact on the anhydride linkage or the functional group. So, when it attacks as a base on acid anhydride, it will abstract its acidic proton at alpha position, as you can see here, and note that the alpha hydrogen atoms are made acidic here because of the electron withdrawing nature of the anhydride group. So, this you can see that it will be very well generating the alpha carbon ion. On the other hand, if it is attacking as a nucleophile, when it will attack as a nucleophile on the electrophilic carbon of the acid anhydride, there is no harm on the anhydride functional group, and it will simply regenerate the anhydride, and this is because the same group is attacking and the same is leaving in case such reaction occurs. So, this again you can see here, there will not be any impact on the anhydride. So, using the alkali salt of the same acid as the anhydride is appropriate to generate the enolate ion with no harm on the anhydride. So, this is the conclusion we can draw, and let me repeat this thing, that is, in aldol the base like NaOH or KOH could be used to generate the alpha carbon ion, but in case of anhydrides the NaOH or KOH type of strong bases cannot be used because they will make the hydrolysis of anhydride function group. So, what Perkin thought of taking was the sodium salt of carboxylic acid, and it is the same carboxylic acid from which the anhydride has been prepared. So, now you can combine the alpha carbon ion of anhydride with another molecule, and what is that molecule? Will be an aromatic aldehyde or ketone. So, this combination will give rise to the Perkin reaction or Perkin condensation, and the product which are formed are the alpha beta unsaturated carboxylic acid. So, let us see how the reaction mechanism takes place. To understand the mechanism of Perkin reaction, let us consider the reaction of acetic anhydride with benzaldehyde as the aromatic aldehyde or ketone in the presence of sodium acetate to produce cinnamic acid. And the reaction, you can see it is as shown here. You have the aromatic aldehyde here, benzaldehyde with acetic anhydride in the presence of sodium acetate, followed by hydrolysis, you will get this cinnamic acid. Now, in the mechanism, what happens is, let us look at the first step. The first step will be the acetate ion will be acting as a base, and it will abstract the alpha hydrogen of the acetic anhydride molecule, and this will give rise to its enolate ion, which is resonance stabilized via the alpha carbon, and so this you can see as it is shown here. After this alpha carbon ion or the enolate ion is formed, the next step is the low equilibrium concentration of the enolate ion will attack as a nucleophile on the electrophilic carbonyl carbon of the benzaldehyde molecules. And now this will result in the formation of a new carbon-carbon bond between these two molecules, as you can see here. Notice that so far the reaction is a normal aldol reaction type mechanism. But something different happens as the reaction proceeds. If you look at this step, once we have formation of this alkoxide ion, it is very similar to aldol. But in aldol, what was happening next? It was simply taking the proton and giving you the product. But now, the next step here is an intramolecular acylation, whereby the alkoxide ion attacks to other end acyl group and abstracts it. And this results in carboxylate ion at one end and the acylated hydroxyl at the other end, as you can see here. So, this intramolecular mechanism is happening. The next step, what happens is the acetic acid is eliminated, giving rise to cinnamic acid, which is an alpha beta unsaturated acid. Acetate is a better leaving group than hydroxide, and hence this step is much more favorable than the usual dehydration at the end of the aldol condensation. So, in aldol there is no dehydration normally, it has to be further heated with acids for the dehydration to take place, but here the elimination of acetic acid via the acetate ion going out as a better leaving group is what is giving you a alpha beta unsaturated product. So, elimination of acetic acid may occur either from the carboxylic acid itself or from the mixed anhydride formed from one more molecule of the acetic anhydride. So, as you can see here, these are the two possible routes also in this elimination, but from either of these two routes the unsaturated acids is formed in a single step with the anhydride assisting the intermediate steps, as you can see here. So, I am sure the mechanism of the Perkin condensation is clear, and in Perkin you start with an aromatic aldehyde ketone reacted with acid anhydride, obviously those acids which have alpha hydrogen in them, and when they are reacted in the presence of base. And what are the bases? They are the sodium salt of the acids, and it is the same acid from which the anhydride has been prepared, and as we combine them we get the alpha beta unsaturated carboxylic acids. So, let us look at some examples of Perkin condensation. You can see here the cinnamic acid itself can be further reacted with acetic anhydride in the presence of sodium acetate, and as a result now you get another unsaturated COH attaching here, and you get this 5-phenyl pent-2,4-dienoic acid as the product. Another example if we consider is this furan 2 aldehyde when subjected to Perkin condensation with acetic anhydride in the presence of sodium acetate, what we get is this molecule, which is the substituted, that is a furyl acrylic acid. Another example, if we look, it is the phthalic anhydride when reacted with acetic anhydride in the presence of sodium acetate. At this carbonyl, there will be formation of this particular product. Another example, if we look, when this benzaldehyde is reacted with propanoic anhydride, notice that because the alpha hydrogen is reacting, you will be getting the substituted cinnamic acid. After understanding Perkin condensation, let us move to another named reaction which is also related to aldol in terms of the alpha carbanion and the enolate. It is the Knoevenagel condensation. Emil Knoevenagel in 1980s gave the classic organic synthesis named as Knoevenagel condensation reaction, and this is considered again as a modified aldol condensation. Knoevenagel condensation is a nucleophilic addition of an active hydrogen containing compound to a carbonyl group, and this is followed by a dehydration reaction in which a molecule of water gets eliminated, and the product so formed is alpha beta conjugated enone. The active hydrogen containing compounds are mostly the ones which contain 2 electron withdrawing groups joined to a methylene group, and these electron withdrawing groups make the hydrogen atoms of the methylene group acidic, which can be easily removed by using appropriate base. Hence, these hydrogen atoms are also referred to as active hydrogen atoms. And if we look at the general reaction for Knoevenagel condensation or Knoevenagel reaction, this is shown as you can see here. There is a carbonyl compound represented here by RCOR, and there is a active methylene compound which is represented by the CH2 joined to 2 jets. In the presence of suitable base, we get this particular combination happening. There is overall removal of this H2, 2 hydrogens from active methylene compound and oxygen from here, and we get this particular condensed product. In the general reaction depicted here, the carbonyl group can be either an aldehyde or a ketone. And if we talk about the base, what is the base used? The base used here is usually an amine, because the problem till now, whether it was aldol when you use NaOH, the NaOH cannot be used in Perkin and Claisen ester similar others. So, everywhere a new appropriate base was being searched, but in the Knoevenagel condensation, the base used is amine, and that amine will be acting as only as a mild base, not as a nucleophile to give other byproducts. So, this will be successfully generating the alpha carbanion, and that will be again being held by the 2 electron withdrawing group in the active methylene compounds. So, now the combination of the alpha carbanion and the aldehyde ketone molecule will be feasible. So, this is the general idea about the Knoevenagel. So, Z in this equation, as you can see here, is the electron withdrawing group, and if we talk about some examples of active methylene group containing molecules, you have already heard about, they can be ethyl acetoacetate or diethyl malonate and so on. So, these are very commonly used, and these are strong enough to enable the deprotonation to produce the enolate ion in the presence of a mild base, which are usually amines. On the contrary, if strong base is used, self condensation of the aldehyde or ketone may take place via the aldol condensation, as you are already aware. So, hence the mild base is used for generation of carbanion and not a strong base. And let us try to know more about the active hydrogen containing compounds and their enolization, especially the 1,3-dicarbonyl compounds and ethyl acetoacetate, before we know more about this particular name reaction. So, you are already aware that 1,3-dicarbonyl compounds and ethyl acetoacetate are largely enolized under normal conditions due to tautomerization. So, why do not these enolized molecules immediately undergo aldol type reaction with themselves without adding any base? And we can get an answer to this question because the enols are very stable, due to conjugation with the carbonyl of the ester group. As you can see here, they will be conjugated and that is what is making them stable. And another reason is the carbonyl group in these unenolized fraction is of poorly electrophilic ester group and ketone groups. The carbonyl group of ester functionalities of the enolized fraction is not electrophilic because of conjugation. When a simple carbonyl compound is treated with acid or base as catalyst, there is a small proportion of reactive enol or enolate in the presence of large amount of unenolized electrophile, and hence in such case an aldol reaction occurs. On the other hand, with 1,3-dicarbonyl compounds, there is a small proportion of less reactive unenolized form in the presence of large amounts of the stable enolized form, and hence no aldol type reaction occurs. So, with this background, let us go into the details of Knoevenagel reaction and its mechanism. Knoevenagel reaction can be treated like a crossed aldol reaction, and to carry out the Knoevenagel reaction, electrophilic carbonyl compounds such as an aldehyde or ketone is treated with active hydrogen containing compound, or we can talk about them as active methylene compounds, for example ethyl acetoacetate or malonic esters, and this is done in the presence of the bases like piperidine or pyridine and sometimes mixture of piperidine and pyridine. And you can look at the general reaction shown here. So, this is the aldehyde ketone and this is the activated methylene, and then in the presence of these amine bases there will be combination and you will get this particular condensed product. So, let us now look at the mechanism. The mechanism is very similar to aldol condensation, where a carbanion is generated which attacks as nucleophile on the electrophilic center of the other molecule, leading to condensation. So, let us look this in more detail here. So, as you can see here, the first step is the deprotonation of the activate methylene compound by the base, and that happens at the active methylene group. So, the active methylene group undergoes deprotonation with the help of base, which is piperidine as shown here, and this gives rise to a carbanion which is resonance stabilized via its enolate ion, as you can see here. The next step is that this enolate ion attacks as a nucleophile via the carbon of carbanion on the carbonyl carbon of the aldehyde or ketone, and this is as shown here. And unlike the aldol, the resulting intermediate, rather than taking proton, undergoes the base induced elimination. So, you can see here this piperidine will be helping again in this elimination, and as a result we get this unsaturated product, which is the alpha beta unsaturated, as you can see here. So, we have seen the Knoevenagel condensation, where active methylene compound can be condensed with aldehyde or ketone in the presence of mild bases, and as a result you can create a unsaturation at that point, and the products may be varying depending upon what type of active methylene compound you have started with. So, let us take some few examples of Knoevenagel reaction, and you can see here one example is we start with acetone and do the reaction with this active methylene compound, and what we get as a result is this unsaturated aldehyde with ester linkage also, and then when this is subjected to hydrolysis, the ester group goes into hydrolysis, and further on heating there will be decarboxylation because of the beta carboxy relationship, and we get this particular 3-methyl crotonic acid as the product. Let us consider another example where we start with acetaldehyde and do the reaction with this dialkyl malonate in the presence of piperidine. We will get this alpha beta unsaturated condensed molecule as the diester, and when this is subjected to further Michael reaction with another molecule of this diethyl malonate, what happens is the Michael reaction happens and it will be attacking on this beta carbon. So, this attacks at beta carbon and as a result we get this condensed product, and this further on hydrolysis all these ester groups will get hydrolyzed and there will be decarboxylation giving corresponding 3-methyl glutaric acid as the product. Another example you can see here, we start with this glyoxylic acid and do the reaction with dialkyl ester of malonic acid. In the presence of piperidine, we will first get this glyoxylic acid, and when this is subsequently subjected to hydrolysis and subsequent heating, it undergoes decarboxylation, we get malic acid. So, you can prepare malic acid using Knoevenagel condensation. Another example is this aromatic aldehyde when it is reacting with this active methylene compound, and it will be giving you this product after it is subjected to hydrolysis and decarboxylation. After the Knoevenagel reaction, let us look at the Dobner modification. When malonic acid is used in place of active methylene compounds and treated with aldehyde in the presence of a base, the product formed can lose a molecule of carbon dioxide in a subsequent step. And the final product obtained here is an alpha beta unsaturated carboxylic acid, and this is called as the Dobner modification. So, this is shown as here. When you have malonic acid, then it will be giving you directly the decarboxylated product rather than a diester and then hydrolysis and decarboxylation. So, this is the Dobner modification as you can see here. And if you look at the mechanism of this reaction, base abstracts the active methylene hydrogen atom resulting in enolate ion as shown here, and this enolate formed in this case is a dianion, notice that, and this is quite stable due to extensive delocalization and intramolecular hydrogen bond as shown here. This dianion further attacks as a nucleophile to the electrophilic carbon of the aldehyde, and then after the proton abstraction from the medium, the so formed aldol as you can see here is formed, and this is monocarboxylate in this basic solution. From this resulting aldol, the next step to take place is the decarboxylation and dehydration. The decarboxylation and dehydration, they occur via a cyclic transition state as shown here. Note that ideally CO2 from any of the two COH groups could happen, which could give rise to E or Z double bond in the product. But since the product has E or the trans geometry, that transition state is involved which has lower energy leading to more stable E alkenoic acid as the product. So, we can say that the more stable E isomer is formed. Talking about the applications, Knoevenagel condensation has huge applications, but let us look at one. In the commercial production, Knoevenagel condensation is a key step in the production of this anti-malarial drug lumefantrine, which is a component of Coatem. So, this you can, as you can notice here, that this is being done with the help of Knoevenagel condensation. Moving further, if we talk about recent advances in Knoevenagel condensation, research is still continuing to explore newer synthetic methods using the Knoevenagel condensation with novel new catalysts and reaction activation. There have been use of microwave and ultrasound irradiated reactions in this context. Many scientists have successfully conducted Knoevenagel reaction with solvent free conditions also. Many chemists have used solid phase synthesis and the photochemical condensation with fruit extract as catalyst to carry out Knoevenagel condensation rather than using base like amines. So, I am sure you are now knowledgeable enough for the Perkin condensation and the Knoevenagel condensation or reactions. So, dear students, let us now summarize what we have learned in this module. We have studied about the Knoevenagel and Perkin condensation, and we have studied that they are both modification of aldol condensation, and they have very similar mechanism like aldol condensation in the way that both give you alpha carbanion by using appropriate base, and then these attack as nucleophile to other aldehyde or ketone as substrate, and then this combination is giving you alpha beta unsaturated carboxylic acid in case of Perkin, and different type of products which are alpha beta unsaturated whether aldehyde ketones or carboxylic acid in case of Knoevenagel condensation. We also studied about Dobener modification, which is the modification of Knoevenagel condensation, where in place of active methylene compound which may be diester, rather it is the dicarboxylic acid taken, and then here decarboxylation also happens in situ and directly we get the alpha beta unsaturated carboxylic acid as the product.